Well, hey, welcome everybody. It is right on the dot here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. In today's webinar, we're going to be talking about the Department of Homeland Security and the PACTS III $8.4 billion IDIQ contract that's out available right now. So in this webinar here, that's what you're going to be learning about. We're also going to be talking about the formation of some teaming co-ops to pursue this opportunity and other future opportunities. So stay to the end as we cover that as well. If you want a copy of the PowerPoint slides, stay to the end. I'll show you how to get a copy of this here. So all the information, feel free to take notes. This webinar is also being recorded so that if you want a copy of it, you'll have access to it at the end as well. We'll send it out to everybody who wants a copy of the webinar as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. And so today, this is our agenda. Quick introduction about myself and our organization in a second here. We're going to be talking about the details of the PACTS III opportunity. We're going to go into the different win strategies of prime sub teaming, whether you're going at it alone or with partners. We'll talk about the benefits of teaming with other companies. We'll talk about why teaming is preferred in this situation, in many other situations. And there's some differences, different opinions in terms of which is better. And then we'll talk about the pitfalls of maybe not having teaming partners in different situations. And then we'll talk about what is a teaming co-op and how does a teaming co-op work, benefits of joining a teaming co-op, and then also how can a teaming co-op help you win more contracts. And then for some of you, we'll talk about qualifications of joining the co-op if you're interested in that. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about if you need help, proposal support for the PACTS III, how can you get help with that as well? And but more than anything, we want to share the PACTS III information with you so that you can prepare your business with the right strategy to pursue that there. So going in, myself, I'm with the Government Contractors Association. We are a national trade organization helping small businesses and medium-sized companies in the government market. Our vision is to create access for companies to access more opportunities, for agencies to access more qualified companies. Our mission is to educate, facilitate, advocate. We've been at this for over 15 years, helping small businesses in the government market. But myself, I am a small business advocate. I'm a long-time entrepreneur. I've been in the government space for 15 years. I've taught over 14,000 businesses and helped companies win over $2 billion in government contract. Most of them are small businesses. For the work that I've done, I was awarded President Obama's Lifetime Achievement Award, the Global Humanitarian Award, and I was named a Goodwill Ambassador for the state of Georgia by then Brian Kemp, who was in office as the Secretary of State. So that's a little about myself. I love what I do here at the association. We're a mission-driven organization helping the small business community. If you have not heard of us, we are here. We've been around for a little bit here, supporting the small business community. But let's go into what we're here to talk about. Before I can talk about PACTS III, I want to talk about PACTS II a little bit, give you a little bit. I didn't go into PACTS I because that's really old information, but I want to kind of share you the contrast between where PACTS II was and what it's becoming as it relates to PACTS III. So a little history here. So PACTS II has to do with DHS, which is Department of Homeland Security. And that covers a few key major agencies under Homeland. So you're talking about CBP, which is a Border Patrol. You're talking about FEMA. You're talking about ICE. You're talking about OPO. Put in the chat if you know what OPO is before I tell everybody what OPO is. And then you got TSA, and then you got the U.S. Coast Guard in here. So all of these agencies will be utilizing the IDIQ contract to purchase from businesses. So anybody got OPO? Just a little. Some of you speak governese more than others. Okay. No one took a stab at it. So the OPO is the Office of Procurement Operations. And so these are the agencies or sub-agencies of DHS that's going to be utilizing PACTS III. They've been utilizing PACTS II. And then under PACTS II, it was only one NAICS code. The one NAICS code is 541611, which is Administrative Management Services. And it was only open to service disabled veteran-owned small businesses. And there were 2 functional areas, function 1, function 2, 19 awardees, and these numbers fluctuate up and down a little bit over time, but 19 awardees for functional area 1, 15 awardees for functional area 2. So if we look at the historical spend under PACTS II, it was originally obligated at 1.1 billion, but as of right now, it's increased from 1.1 to 1.6 billion. So they surpassed the original targeted amount. Last year, they awarded 2023 fiscal year, they awarded 196 million under this contract vehicles to companies. If we look at last year in terms of what was awarded, Information Technology Coalition, they received 28% of the contracts. And these are some of the other companies, but you can kind of see that this was a collaboration, multiple companies. They collaborated to have greater access. But here's a very important factor. On average, in terms of the TO stands for task orders, on average, for every task order, there was only 3 companies that were bidding on it. So you're talking about just because you bid, you have a 33% chance of winning. So really, really limited in terms of in terms of competition. And so chances of winning was really great for those that were in the PACTS II contract vehicle here. So let's shift into PACTS III. PACTS III, they've increased it by about 6-fold. So from 1.6 to $8.4 billion. And if the trend holds true, they may even surpass this ceiling in terms of what's being anticipated here. And then it was released February 5th, is due on March 29th. I put the link here. I will make the PowerPoint available to everybody. Stay to the end. I'm going to show you how to do that there. Make it available to all of you. So if you want direct access, definitely you can go and find it yourself on SAM. But I have the direct link here. So functional area 1 is the 541611 administrative management. So this is the first area. Functional area 2 is the 561110, the office administrative services. Now, some of you are in IT, a few of you are directly in these areas, and you're thinking, okay, where's IT? Well, IT falls under functional area 3, which is 541330, which is engineering services. IT and technical support services falls under the functional area 3 here. So if that's your niche market, you're in the IT space, that's that. Or if you're in the other, and some of you have multiple areas of expertise. So these are the 3 functional areas that's available this time. So it's gone from 1, or it's gone from 2 to 3 functional area, and they've expanded from 1 NAICS code to all 3 NAICS code now. Let's go on some more details. This PACTS III is only available for businesses that have 8A certifications, SDVOSB, WOSB, or HUBZone. Now, if you don't have any certification, that does not mean that you can't bid on it. That means you have to take a different approach. That means you have to form some teams to go after this opportunity, either as a teaming partner, or maybe have somebody add you on as a subcontractor after they won the contracts. But it's only available for small businesses. Now, if you are a large company, there is another strategy that we will talk about in a second. But these are the, in terms of pursuing as a prime, these are the options here. So what are the different pursuit types out there? So one is you could pursue it as a prime, as a single company or solo company. That's one strategy. You can also pursue it in a teaming, and as a small plus other smalls. It could be 2 companies or it could be 3 companies. Now, for other type of teaming, there could be small and large company can be in the teaming. But for the purpose of the PACTS III, your teaming partner has to be other small businesses. Now, if you are a large company, that falls under some other categories down here in a second. So if you are you can pursue it under track 3, which is as a joint venture, another small business with another small business or multiple small businesses here. So that is the option pursuit 3. If you are a large company, then you will fall under option 4, which is a mentor-protege joint venture. And so this is where there's a large company as a mentor and a small business as the protege. Now, again, keep in mind that historically JVs and teaming in other type of contracting vehicles and other type of pursuit, you can have a small and a large, but for the purpose of the PACTS III, JVs and teaming only can be small. And then if there's a large company, then it can be has to be under the mentor-protege approach here. Along the way, if you have questions, put your questions into the chat area, and we will circle back and address some of it. There's going to be a total of 96 awardees. And the way they're going to award is they're not just going to randomly choose the top 96. They're going to break these awards into different categories. So, for example, Functional Area 1, they're going to award it to, there's 2 awards times 4 of the areas, and then also times 4 pursuit strategies. So 4 certifications, 4 pursuit strategies, and 2 awards per each category. So for example, in the prime, if you are pursuing this opportunity as a single company, there's going to be 2 total awards for individual companies that are 8A companies. There's going to be 2 awards solo to veteran-owned businesses, 2 to women-owned, 2 to HUBZone. So that's what I mean by 2 for each of these categories. So for Functional Area 1, there's going to be a total of 32 companies. Same thing for Functional Area 2, total of 32 companies. Same thing for Functional Area 3, a total of 32 companies. So that's what the awardees is going to be looking like. And some of the questions you guys have, I will address it in a second. Hopefully, I will answer some of the answers will be covered while we go through this here. And I'll pause in a little bit to take some questions also and review some of your questions as well. So let's continue here. Now, if you decide to submit a proposal, you have to submit 1 proposal per functional area per pursuit strategy. So if you decide I'm going to pursue it as a women-owned business for Functional Area 1, then that will be considered 1 proposal. And if you want to go after a second functional area, you have to write a second proposal. Unlike other contracting vehicles in the past where you write 1 proposal and you choose whether you do 1, 2, or 3, in this situation, 1 proposal per functional area per pursuit type. Now, you are not required to pursue all 3 functional areas. You only choose the one that you want to go after, or you can write 3 proposals for all 3 areas. Also, submission is through the PI portal. And then if you have facility clearance, it's not mandatory to pursue, but you earn extra points in the proposal evaluation and scoring on this here. So if you have facility clearance, you can earn extra points. If you have a compliant accounting system, DCA compliant, you earn extra points also for this here. So again, not required at this point, but you earn extra points. So it gives you higher points in terms of the evaluation. Other things as it relates to past performance, there's no limit to the number of past performances that you can submit. Now, historically, in the past, typically they tell you they want 3, or they want 6, or they want 10. But in this situation, they say, hey, you can submit as many past performances as you want. Now, for some of you smaller micro businesses, this becomes problematic because you only have 4 or 5. And if you only have 4 or 5, they give you points for every single past performance that you submit. So if you're going to pursue solo as a prime and you only have 4 or 5 past performance, guess what? There's going to be someone that may have 30 past performance. They're going to submit all 30 past performance that meet the criteria for that functional area. So they're going to have a better chance of winning that as a prime. In that situation, you may join with another teaming partner, or you can go at it alone but knowing that there's some stronger companies out there that maybe have 30 past performance. And I'll talk about the tying, the specific of the past performances in a second here. So there's no limit, and they actually provide an Excel sheet, and you can list as many, there's no page limit. So you can list as many as you want in terms of past performances. Now you earn points for each past performance that you submit. And some, in past performance, they break it down in terms of dollar amount range. So from 250,000 to 400,000, it earns, I think, like 106 points or something, or 117 points. And then it breaks it down for this category. You earn points per past performance that you submit. So you earn points for each past performance you submit. Now, here's the caveat, though. You cannot submit the same past performance for multiple functional areas. So if you use 10 on functional area 1, you cannot use any of those for the second or third functional areas. So that there's some limitations with that. So you have to be strategic. Again, if you're a smaller business with limited past performances, you might want to consider, okay, maybe I just pursue one area versus all 3 areas. And then your past performance is limited in terms of years. Again, generally, it's 3 years for other type of contracting vehicles. For this one, it's only 2 years. And it has to be, they actually give a specific number of days. So this is very precise. There's no guessing about this here. It's 730 days from February 5th. So if your past performance, the end date falls outside of this 730 days, then you cannot utilize that there. And then your past performance can be you as a prime, as a sub, as a JV, or mentor-protege. If you are in a teaming JV or mentor-protege, then there has to be a formal teaming agreement in place. If you don't have a formal teaming agreement in the JV or mentor-protege, they will not consider that as part of your scoring for the past performance. So prime or sub, you can use those. If you're on a formal JV mentor-protege, you must have a formal team agreement in place that you submit as part of the package. They say that in the future, 79% of task orders will require you the past performance of 6 months or more. So for example, let's assume you submitted 30 past performance. Then you have to perform on it. They will only count for the 79% of the opportunity. Now, there's the 21% of it that as long as it's your past performance, they're okay. But 79% of the anticipated future task order, you have to have performed on that project a minimum of 6 months to consider that as a valid past performance for the task orders. So that is a very specific, I don't know how they came up with 79%, but that's their anticipation of the task order that they're going to be using that's going to require this level of experience. And then as it relates to your past performance, they are making the distinction between obligated amount and actual spend. Let's assume you won a IDIQ contract for $20 million. Well, you can't say you got a $20 million, they won't count it as a $20 million past performance. It's actually what's the actual spend that was awarded to you under task order if it's under IDIQ, or you may win a 5-year, 1 + 4 option years standard contract, but they will count if the let's assume it's $1 million a year, $5 million for 5 years. They may not spend all $5 million, or they may spend $6 million, surpassing the obligated amount. So they will consider your past performance based on actual spend. The lowest threshold is $250,000 in terms of your past performance, and it goes from that on up with different categories like that. So that's how they're going to count your past performances. Other consideration in terms of your past performance, if you decide to go into in a teaming relationship, and they can actually verify that you were in a teaming, you earn double the points. So for example, if the category is 117 points per past performance, and you can actually validate it with a teaming agreement, then you earn double the amount of points for that one past performance there. And in the evaluation, you can score like 12,000 points, and somebody might score 10,000 points, and someone might score 6,000 points. And so the points is really, it can be really crazy. It can get way up to the thousands and thousands of points. Now, they did say that in the video that they, in the guidance that they provided, they did say that in a formal teaming or some type of relationship that's formal, that's more desirable to Homeland Security. And task order, if you do go in it in terms of a teaming or some type of partnership, they also expect that the task order must be performed by that same team. So for example, let's assume there's 3 companies coming together to do a teaming collaboration. On an award, the task order that's been awarded to that team, all 3 companies, they expect all 3 companies to perform on that project there. So it can't be like in, you know how in some contracting vehicles, there is a prime and there's some teaming partner that are sub, and the prime does all the work and the sub gets nothing. They don't play around with that with this contracting vehicle. If you went in it and the award was on the basis and the strength of all 3 companies, they expect all 3 companies to share in the performance of the work itself. So I think there, in some ways, that is a more fair approach so that there's not necessarily abuse. Because in a teaming, 1 could be the prime and 2 can be the sub, and the prime may not utilize the subs at all. So in this situation, even though you're a sub on a teaming, but the award was won based upon the merits of all 3 companies, then all 3 companies, they expect all 3 companies to perform on that task order. And then 40% of opportunities, if you're going to use it for past performance in a joint venture or in a Mentor-Protege joint venture, the managing venture has to perform 40% of the work for it to be considered as past performance on this opportunity here. There's going to be 4 volumes that's going to be submitted. You're going to have the executive summary, you're going to have the technical volume, the pricing volume, and the documentation volume. For the purpose of time, I'm not going to go to all the breakdown of all this here, but there's going to be 4 total volumes. You can see that the scoring sheets for past performance is unlimited. And so there's some pages that's limited, and then there are some items that's unlimited in terms of this here. So good and bad news is can be a lot of, if you have great strength and lots of history, you stand a better chance of winning. If you don't have a lot of history, your chances is more limited. So let's talk about win strategies and go into more details in terms of your pursuit strategies here. So you can pursue as a prime, going at solo, or you can pursue with other partners. And so let's go into all these areas here. So what are the differences between prime, sub, teaming, JV, MP, JV? So in a prime, you're going it for the purpose of this PACTS III opportunity, you're going it as a solo company, and all of the past performance and qualifications, it comes from you. And all of the qualification, meeting all of the requirements, it comes from your company as the prime. You choose not to use any subs, but you can still sub to other companies later. So that's the prime strategy. In a teaming is a small plus another small or multiple small companies coming together to pursue. And then 1 will act as the prime and the others will be the sub teaming partners. So that's your teaming. And in a JV, 2 small businesses or more will come together, form a new company to pursue this opportunity. And the JV is the prime. and everybody, everybody's in that's part of the JV will perform work based upon your initial setup of the JV itself. And in a mentor-protege, the large and small forms gets the mentor-protege approved by the SBA, and then they pursue the opportunity as the JV itself. Not the large, not the small, but both companies will operate the JV. And joint ventures, there's layers and layers and layers of joint ventures that we can go into, but for the purpose of the PACTS III opportunity today, I'm not going to go into all the different layers and complexities of forming a mentor-protege and a JV and so forth. But we can cover that at a different time. But I will go to give you a little bit more perspective as the strategy going as a prime. So if you are the prime, you're the red color here. You're pursuing the PACTS III directly with the agency here. Once you win, you can utilize other subs, future opportunities, task order down the road. So that's really your strategy. You can move faster this way. There should be less competition if you're very strong with a lot of past performances. Then going at it alone is going to allow you the greatest chance of success, because many small businesses, since they lack a lot of past performance, they're going to come together in some type of partnership so that they can beef up all of the past performances as a team. Whereas if you have lots of past performances, the best strategy is to go at it alone. And you have a better chance to win because there's going to be less company that's going to be competing as going at it alone. Again, but there's going to be fewer people that have a lot of past performances. So this might be the best strategy. But the weakness is it's relying on your strength and your capabilities. And so that is a pro and that's a con at the same time. So let's talk about teaming with other companies. In terms of teaming with other companies, the goal is collaboration for mutual success. So you team for collaboration of success. That's why you team. So there's different ways of how you're going to team. So in this situation, we're going to talk about just teaming in general. Now, traditional teaming, you can have a large company and you can have other small businesses. For the purpose of the PACTS III, you can only have teaming partners that are made up of other small businesses. So in this situation, 3 companies or 4 companies or 2 companies can come together. One will act as the prime, the other will be the teaming partner, and there will be a formal teaming agreement that you must submit as part of the proposal package. And then once you win contract, yes, you can have other subcontractors down the road to help support the task order. But going in, the 2 companies in red here will go in as teaming partners directly to the agency. In this situation, this is ideal because there's a big shift that's happening in the government market. Some of you have seen that there's a greater emphasis in terms of categorization spending. There's a greater use of larger contracting vehicles. And so agencies, the best way for them to meet these small business set-aside goals is to award these big contracts so they have less company to choose from. So it makes the paperwork easier, makes it lighter for them in terms of all the administration purposes. And so contracting agencies, contract officer, procurement buyers, they're shifting more to utilizing more and more contracting vehicles. And so that is a shift that's happening. It's been happening since probably 2012. It's increased over the years to where now we're seeing it that it's becoming more and more of a desirable. If you're not on a contracting vehicle, a larger contract vehicle, and as a small business, you're getting squeezed out little by little. So you definitely want to be in some type of teaming, some type of partnership now and into the future to go after some of these bigger contracting vehicle. What this does is it allows you to leverage the strength of your teaming partners. And if you have 2 or 3 or 4 companies, you leverage everybody's strength. And then you have the potential to win more contract with more capabilities instead of just relying on your own capacity. Now, in a joint venture, it's a little bit different from teaming. It's almost the same, but the big difference is that you have 2 companies or 3 companies that come together. You form a new company, which is the JV. So for example, company B comes together, you form a company called ABJV LLC, and then the JV is the one that's bidding on the opportunity. And then the two companies support the JV. Typical JV is what's called a non-populated or unpopulated JV. That means the JV does not have employees. The JV is what's called a paper company. It's a contracting vehicle to pursue the opportunity. And when task orders are awarded to the JV, it passes directly to the companies. And so the JV will receive the money, will receive the task order, the work, and money will flow to the JV's account, and it will go directly to the JV partners in this situation. One will be the venturing. For example, if one company is 8A, one's not an 8A, and you're pursuing this here as an 8A JV, then you will, one company will act as a managing venture. The managing venture will do 51%. The non-managing venture would do 49% in this scenario. You're also able to utilize other subs in the future, but but they don't necessarily have to be part of the joint venture itself. So the new code takes on all the strength of these two companies here in this example here. So the JV has the strength. If this company has 20 past performance, the JV, let's say company 1 has 20 past performance, company 2 has 10, the JV now has 30 past performances. So that's why a JV takes on the strength of both. And so this is actually a little bit more desirable than the teaming itself from the eyes of most agencies. And then you have the chance of winning more contracts in this scenario here. Now, this is actually a joint venture that we helped facilitate it. Two companies, one was an 8A, one was non-8A. We facilitated the two companies coming together. They were awarded a $4.5 million sole source contract. And so these methods are used on a everyday basis to pursue certain strategies so that you guys can maximize your win opportunities here. Now, in a mentor-protege joint venture partnership, it's typically a large company and a small business, two coming together. And so you got a large, you got a small, forming a new joint venture to pursue opportunities. The joint venture is considered a small business, even though there's a large company in the JV. Because of this here, the JV is still considered small business because there's a formal mentor-protege agreement in place. So with this here, you actually have to get approval from the SBA and then form the JV simultaneously at the same time, but you will need the approval of the SBA. So what are the advantages to a large company by being in a mentor-protege relationship? It gives you access to small business set-asides, and where previously has not been available to large companies. It also allows you to win sole source contract of $4.5 million for civilian agencies. DOD is $8 million for DOD. So sole source threshold, there's two different size standards. One is for DOD and one is for civilian. And so in this situation, it will fall under the 4.5 million. Homeland Security the threshold will be 4.5 million. And then it allows the large company to meet their small business goals in terms of the federal contracting small business program goals. It also allows them to strengthen the proposals, because every time a large company submits a proposal, they have to, in many large opportunities, they have to include a small business plan, which is part of the small business program. So it strengthens your proposal because as a large company, you already have a small business plan in place. That's a lot stronger than another large company that's just like, oh, we'll put together a small business plan after we win. And then it allows you to meet your subcontracting plan based upon the requirement of the specific opportunities. And for some larger company, you have supply diversity goals. It allows you to meet your internal supply diversity goals as well. And then the joint venture company will qualify as a small business. So this is to your advantage as a large company. So you can bid on open competition and you can bid on set-aside opportunities. And it's good karma. I mean, as a large company, it's just good to help other small businesses. And 80% between 77 and 80% of contracts are won by large companies. Small businesses are winning on average between 20 to 23% every year. So it's just good to help and groom other small business. Part of it, it's a obligation as a large company to have small business subcontracting to support you. 35% in general must be subcontracted to small businesses. So it's just good karma. And then key thing in doing a Mentor-Protege is you avoid affiliation. Affiliation is a serious thing. What happens under affiliation is that it's more prone for protests. And so in this situation, it minimizes award protests. If you have a formal mentor-protege relationship, it minimizes. Before someone says, "Oh, we're just going to protest because that large company is part of the team." Well, if they see that it's a mentor-protege, most likely the attorney said, "Hey, you're going to waste your money. Yeah, you can pay me a $50,000 retainer and we can file a protest, but you're probably not going to win." So it's going to minimize frivolous protests. The benefits to a small business in setting up a mentor-protege is this here. You're able to actually utilize the past performances of the mentor in the JV. Also, you can pursue larger size contract because now you got a 3,000-pound gorilla as part of your capture engagement plans. So now you have larger opportunities that you can go after. And then it increases immediately your capabilities. And then you become more competitive in the industry here. And then it meets the goals of your small business plan as well, in your 8A plan. And then it allows you to have access to the mentor's resources, financial capability, HR bonding, infrastructure, lots of the resources that a large company have. When you set up a formal mentor-protege, you ask the mentor, I need help in these areas, and the SBA will approve the mentor based upon the request that you have as a small business and the willingness of the large company to support those initiatives as well. And again, it avoids the affiliation and is less likely to minimize protests. There was an 8A company I was supporting, and they won a contract. They didn't have a mentor-protege in place. And even though it wasn't a super large project, just a few $1 million, it was protested. And they had to fight it because their subcontractor was a large company. And so it was protested based upon affiliation between the two companies. Now, obviously, they did win that protest, but now they wasted a lot of time and money to fight that protest there. So why are teaming JV, MP JV preferred, right? One, agencies trust that when multiple companies are in a formal relationship, all the companies are on the hook. Whereas in the teaming is not as much, but in the mentor-protege JV and a regular JV, the JV is on the hook, which is made up of the other two or multiple companies, and that's stronger in the eyes of the agency. You also have a greater chance of winning the opportunity. So more capacity, greater chance. And then you allow the agency, to meet their set aside goals when they have larger companies working with smaller businesses. They know that, yes, we can check the box as a small business, but we have to support the large company. And so they have more comfort level, but they can meet their agency, whether it's 23% set aside goal or the VA, 27% of VA awards are awarded to veteran-owned businesses. So 27%, they can increase up to 30% and so forth. Now, there's a lot of large opportunities coming out this year here. This is a summary, not all of them, but this is a quick summary. So we're talking about PACTS III right now. That's happening as of right now. It's February. Either late this month or March, DOT is going to come out with the hardware, software. They call it SAVES. And so that's going to come out in early March, maybe late February. It's towards the end of February already. So that's coming out. That's a $10 billion contract opportunity. You got NASA SOUP that's coming out anytime now as well. Some of the early preliminary documentation has come out already. That's $77 billion. You got the Air Force. The C2E is coming out. You got the Army with ITES 4. You get Alliant 3 with your GSA. That's coming out in April. You get Department of Energy. coming out April again. You got the second one from CBOSS2 coming out in April. You've got HHS coming out in May. You get the VA with Next Gen coming out in July, and you got the other one from the Department of Energy coming out in August. So you're talking about a lot of big contracts coming out. If you're going at it solo, good luck. And you may have a chance, but this is the time to consider, how do I get into a collaboration with other companies so that we can stand the best chance of pursuing all this larger IDIQ contract that's coming out. We know that contracting officers are leaning more and more towards these larger contracting vehicles, doing task order versus putting it out for general competition. And so this is the right direction in terms of where you as a business need to consider going into the future. So what are the challenges of not being a partnership? You're limited by your own capacity. You may not have key certifications that some opportunities will require. You may have one or two, but you may not have all of them. And then you may lack certain past performance or key relevant past performance. You may have 10, but it's not relevant, right? Or it may be outside of the scope of 3 years or 2 years or something like that. And then you don't have a deep bench of talents. Sometimes you need certain key management people. You need certain resumes to be part of it. And you have to go and source those talent. You have to go out there and look for these talents to be on your bench. Well, you can't just pay them and let them sit on your bench. By having teaming partners, you immediately have a bench of other people to support you. And then you lack corporate infrastructure and limited relationships with buyers, with agencies. Some of you may have regional limitations depending on which industries you're in, plus many other weaknesses. By going at it as a solo company, there's certain weaknesses that you may have. So GCA is, we're bringing creating teaming co-op, a teaming cooperative. So what is a teaming co-op? It is a cooperation of it's a teaming cooperative is a mutual collaboration of companies supporting each other by sharing strength and resources to pursue and win more contract opportunities together. So that's a teaming co-op. What is a teaming co-op chapter? A chapter is where multiple companies of 10 to 15 companies, they make a decision to come in a formal relationship, meeting every single week, creating trust between the partners, and then leveraging each other's strength to pursue now and future opportunities. So right now we are looking to see, these are the things that we're looking for in terms of different companies that want to come together. So these are the strengths that you bring to the party, to the chapters here. So what is it that's needed, right? You need relationships, because you may be weak in relationship, but you may be strong in some other areas. Another company may have relationships that they bring to the value as value to the party here. So there's 6 types of relationships that's needed in the industry. So you bring some of those. You need past performance. So typically all project requires a minimum of 3 relevant past performance. Maybe that's your strength. Or maybe you have a strong management team. You got a great years of experience. You're really highly technical in certain niche market. Or it could be where you have technical subject matter expert and that you can support the technical writing in some of these areas. There may be some stronger companies, that stronger relationship, but technically they're weak. And so these are some additional value and benefits in terms of working together. In addition, sometimes you may have a great proposal manager, proposal writer. Sometimes you may have a weak proposal writer. And so you can support each other in this manner as well. Also, you need a capture plan. And some of you've got a very healthy capture plan. Some of you're like, what is a capture plan? And so you also need an opportunity manager to support some of these initiatives. You need a right, proper pricing strategy. Some situation is pricing to win. Some situation it's LPTA. In some situation, it's best value. 60% opportunities are best value, but 40% is lowest price technically acceptable. So you need, if you're typically higher in your pricing, in some situation, you might need some subcontractor that historically has been lower, so that between the two, you can create a blended rates to be more competitive. And some of you bring certifications to the table, right? Large company needs small businesses need large companies. Other small business with some certifications need other companies with other certifications. And then there's many other factors and value that you can bring into a teaming co-op, right? You may have compliance, you may have facility clearance, you may have professional license, you may have certain quality standards, you may have CMMC standards, you may have clearances, cybersecurity, insurance, many other important factors that you can bring to the team. And these are all very valuable in terms of a collaboration. So these are the 6 types of relationships you need in the government market. You need relationship with the end user, the agency itself, the program manager, the director. You need a relationship with the contracting office, contracting officer, contracting professionals. You need relationship with small business advocates, small business specialists, the SABU, the OSTBU, the SBA boss. You need a relationship with other small businesses that have certifications or different niche expertise that you may not have. You need a relationship with large companies that may have contracting opportunities, subcontracting projects for you, or they may need small businesses for subcontracting purposes. And then you need a capture team. You need an internal team of professional, proposal writer, compliance, legal team. So these are 6 different types of relationships. Some of you, if you're wondering why we haven't been successful, it's because you're lacking these relationships here. You may have 1 or 2 or 3, but all 6, you're weak in some of these areas. And so that's why we're talking about coming together in a teaming co-op, so that where you may have some weaknesses, there may be some strength to lend to you in these situations. So let's talk about, how does a teaming co-op work? So a teaming co-op is a program facilitated and supported by GCA. Now, you're welcome to go and form your own teaming co-op there, but I've seen, if you do that, there can be some dysfunction. There can be some companies that come and go, and it is not always effective. And so what we're doing is we're forming a very formal, a very structured process. And so the chapter is formed within a niche industry, whether it's the IT or whether it's construction or whether it's a different niche market. And then these chapter members, they pool the resources to support each other. We provide a capture manager to help facilitate the meetings and the proposal opportunities. We also provide the opportunity to meet every single week with each other, to create trust, to get to know each other, and then to decide on bid opportunities that you want to pursue together. And then we also provide an opportunity manager to every single day. Somebody is looking for opportunities for you. So in our teaming co-op, we provide these resources so that you're never lacking opportunities. But then also, more important than that, we provide a proposal manager to help write these proposals for you. So yes, you have your own proposal writer, but you're pursuing it as a prime solo company. Feel free to keep doing that. The purpose of the team is so that you can go after larger projects. You can go after projects that you lack capacity. So that's the purpose of why we're doing this here. So we provide you a capture manager, opportunity manager, proposal writer, and we facilitate this process to help everybody to be more effective. So how does a team co-op? What's the process? So first is, once you're in the chapter, you have capture meetings every single week. In these capture meetings, we're providing opportunities. We provide a software to manage your bids. You're reviewing bids to see, hey, of the 10 companies or 12 companies that's in our chapter here, this fits these 3 companies. Oh, this other one fits these other 4 companies. And then you make a go or no-go decision. Once you make a decision to go, then you choose, okay, these 3 companies can pursue these opportunities. Some opportunity can be 2 companies, some opportunity may be 4 or 5 companies. And then we will facilitate the proposal. We'll write out the overall of the proposal. You help out with the technical subject matter expert area. And then you submit, you get awarded, and you mobilize, you perform on it, and you repeat the process. So that's really how the teaming co-op process works. So what's the qualification to join our teaming co-op here? There's a code of ethics you have to abide by. And then you also, the code of ethics, because you want to create trust among each other. And then you must bring some value to the chapter, to the teaming co-op. For example, it could be certification, past performance, relationship, different capabilities, certain innovations, certain technology, clearances, different things like that. Also, you must have some type of business revenue. If you're a brand new startup, the teaming co-op is not for you. We do have other programs for companies that's brand new, but this is more for companies that have a little bit of history in the industry, but still haven't achieved to a level that they can go at it without partners and other teaming support. And then you have to be in business for 2 years or longer. And then you must have a representative, either a capture manager or someone in your company that attend the weekly capture meetings. This is a requirement. You can only miss 2 meetings in a 6-month time period. And so it's a serious commitment. It's not for those that just like, I want to casually see if I can. You can't create trust if you're not showing up to support each other. And so trust comes by you giving and other people giving. And so, and then there is an application process that's going to be reviewed by a membership committee. And then there are some rare situations where we only allow, certain number of companies into the group, but the membership committee can waive a few exceptions in some situation, but that's between the membership committee and the chapter itself. So what do you receive in a teaming co-op? You receive a proposal writer to help you write proposals, to help you write sources sought respond. You receive a capture facilitator. You receive our training program, 14 weeks training program. You receive lots and lots and lots of value, so much that I can't even cover it in this presentation here. But if you are interested in a co-op, I will show you in a second here, how do you join a teaming co-op? So first is we're forming chapters right now, especially in the IT program management, administrative management area. And so we only accept 1 certification type per chapter. In some rare situation, if there's an 8A company that have strength in one area and there's another 8A company that has strength in a different, we may make exception in that situation, but in general, 1 certification per chapter. And these certifications can be any of these here. And then you have to invest to join a chapter. It's a very nominal investment. The investment is a one-time setup fee of $5,000 plus $1,000 per month. So for the first month, it's $6,000. And then after that, it's $1,000 a month after that. This is a lot more affordable than you paying for a proposal writer on your own. Now, you can have your own proposal team. You can have your own internal team. But this is to help the efforts of the group. So now, if you have a few companies coming together, now there's the pooling of financial resources allows you to have a full-time proposal writer supporting your capture initiative, allows you to have a capture manager facilitating the chapter, allows you to have opportunity managers sourcing opportunities every single day for your chapter. Next steps is this here. If you are if you want to pursue the PACTS III and you need proposal support, we do have proposal support. It's a flat fee of $7,000 for 1 functional area. If you want to go after 2 functional areas, it's $5,000. And just shoot us an email, info@govcontractors.org. If you're interested in the co-op, in the teaming co-op, there's an application process, and you apply for chapter membership, and then the membership committee will meet and will inform you that they are interested in considering you to be part of the chapter. And then you'll sit down for a meeting. And then after that, we will, if it's a chapter that's already, if it's a new chapter, then we wait till we have about 4 companies, then we will form a new chapter to support each other. And moving forward, we'll add more and more companies to your chapter so that all these big IDIQ contracts that's coming out this year, now you have certain resources to help. So that's a little about the PACTS III. So I'm going to pause here to see if there's any questions or any comments. In the meantime, I'm going to put this into the chat. So if you're interested in anything that we covered today. And so at this time here, Via, are there any specific questions that I need to answer?
Abe, I think I heard my name.
Yes. Are there
What
any
did you
specific?
say?
Are there any questions you see in the chat that I need to address first before I open it up for general questions?
Way back at the beginning,
Okay.
do the team members need to be the same set aside? I'm just going to read them off just in case there's overlap. What about WOSB? Will subcontracting performance be considered?
And let me answer the first one.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
So the question is, if one company has 8A and the other company does not have 8A, do both of you need to have 8A? The answer is no. In a teaming, one company needs to be the one that is the 8A, or the women-owned, or the veteran-owned, or the HUBZone, and then the other company can be a teaming member that does not have certifications, and that's okay. But whoever is the prime must have certification.
Okay. Aaron answered a variety of questions, so I'm trying not to overlap his answers. Let's see. I think you've covered all the questions in the chat. A variety of people listed their NAICS code or their certifications. I think we're good to open it up to I stand corrected.
New question.
If a chapter wins an award, is work guaranteed to all members? How will work share be determined?
Okay, that's a very good question. Work share is, let's assume that the chapter has 10 companies in the teaming co-op chapter. Within that, 3 companies may say, hey, this opportunity falls within our 3 areas. We can lend our resources to each other in terms of past performance and certification strength and so forth, so that we can win. Those 3 companies are the one that's going to be performing on it. And so if you're in a teaming co-op, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a piece of the pie. You still have to choose to be part of that team that is pursuing that specific bid opportunity. There may be other projects that you have better strength, and maybe there's 3 past performance requirement. You have 2, and you need another company. Now, if you have all 3 and you decide to go at it alone, that's up to you. But if you need help, then you want to leverage the strength of the teaming co-op. But the revenue that comes in is not shared by all 10 companies. The 10 companies will still have to create trust amongst each other. Different companies bring different value. You still have to show up to the meetings and say, hey, I'm interested in this project. Anybody else in the team interested in this project? Our teaming, our capture facilitator will help facilitate the meeting with the proposal writer, will help move that process along. You guys will write the technical subject matter area. A proposal manager will write the whole proposal for you guys. Now, in the teaming co-op, 2 or 3 companies can form a joint venture and form a new company to pursue opportunities. All 10 companies can form a joint venture in a formal joint venture as part of the teaming co-op, but that's up to you as a chapter to decide to do that. We recommend doing that, where as a JV, when the JV wins a contract, then all members of the JV gets a share of those opportunities. But when the JV wins a contract, you still have to decide who's going to do what portion. And so you only earn based upon the portion of work that you perform. Next question. I think Chris had a question. Is 10 the normal number of companies? In our teaming co-op, ideally between 10, 12, maybe maximum about 15. Beyond 15, it gets a little too crazy. So we're anticipating forming between 10 to 15-ish. What's the success rate of the proposal writers? Our proposal team have written over 3,000 proposals. We don't track win rate because every single proposal, because we support proposals, our proposals will be compliant with Shipley standards. Our proposal will be compliant to the requirements. The win rate, it depends on your relationship. It depends on your past performance. It depends on your certification. It depends on many, many factors that's outside of the control of the proposal writer. But the proposal writer, our team has written over 3,000 proposals itself, so you don't have to be concerned, will it be compliant? It will be compliant with the requirements, and it's going to meet Shipley standards. Let's see here. The question is, technically a company be part of the co-op, pay monthly fees and never get any work. It's possible, right? Let's assume you hire a proposal writer. Just because you bring in internally, right? You hire a capture manager. Capture managers, on average, you're paying anywhere from $100,000 to $250,000 for a full-time capture manager. Proposal writer, you're going to pay anywhere from, on the low end, $70,000 to $150,000 for a proposal writer. They can't guarantee you a contract. So by being a teaming co-op, you invest less, but you get the same level of support to go after larger projects. You can continue to pursue your own individual opportunity, but this gives you greater chance of leveraging the strength of other companies. Currently, the way teaming are set up is you see an opportunity, you go to SAM, you go to USA Spending, you find out who's winning contract, you have to email them, you have to engage them, create trust. That's too cumbersome. That's too plain reacting. And so what we're doing is we're saying, hey, we're going to create a formal structure where everybody abides by the code of ethics. Everybody's committed to this process here. Everybody's committed to each other. And you're going to have a greater chance of success versus winging it, reacting to opportunities. Why do you not track win rates? How do you measure? If you wrote 3,000 but only won 500, that's a low win rate. We're, in terms of our proposal team, we don't track win rate because there are things that we can't control. Now, as if I was a proposal writer for one company, I can track that. But our proposal writers write proposal for multiple companies, and in that we're a proposal shop, right? Part of what we do is we write proposals based upon the requirements, based upon the standards of Shipley, and we don't track it because our goal is to write the proposal. Our goal is because your win rate is based upon your company itself. Let's see. Okay, so Sarah Gao is looking for she's going after functional area 1, looking for some partners. Reach out to her, that's her email. In a mentor project teaming venture, does the large company have to be an 8A? No, the large company is a large company. If you're large, you cannot be 8A anymore. So a small business is the 8A. The large company is the large company. You can do a veteran-owned, service-disabled veteran-owned Mentor-Protege. You can do a women-owned Mentor-Protege. You can do a HUBZone Mentor-Protege as well. Will all these co-ops being formed, but how does it work when the government only intends to award 2 contracts to each type of small businesses, prep sign? You're welcome to pursue any of these pursuit tracks, whichever you see fit. What we're doing is we're just taking it's really the teaming co-op is not necessarily for the PACTS III only. Should the team come together and the team is ready for the teaming co-op, yes, we're going to help you go after the teaming co-op, the PACTS III opportunities. So the teaming co-op is designed for the PACTS III, but for all future opportunities as well that you guys see fit, that your team has ability to support. Are individuals able to team with other co-ops? You're welcome to team with anybody you want outside of the teaming co-op. But the purpose of the teaming co-op is so that you can create a trusted environment, a trusted peer, and that when you need something, you already have someone you know, like, and trust. If you just randomly choose somebody, I've seen a lot of bad teaming relationships. I've seen where a larger company and a smaller company, an 8A graduate working with a new 8A, they won the contract. The large company treated the small business in a really bad manner. I've seen companies steal opportunities and never share the opportunity with the other teaming partner. Lots of bad stuff happen in the industry. Some of you have been in your own few bad story situation. That's why we're doing this here, so that you can foster an environment of trust. And if you meet together every week, you get to know each other, and you know if you're going to trust that person. And if at some point, if that person is not trustworthy, no one's going to want to team with that person. That person's going to like, well, either I don't feel wanted, they're going to leave, or they're going to say, you know what, I got to earn the trust of my teaming partners here, so that they want me to be part of these opportunities. And so it's all about trust. Relationship is about, KL2, right? Know, like, and trust. What we're doing is we can say, you can go out there and know a lot of people, but you may not like them. You may like a few people, but there may not be trust. And what we're trying to do is facilitate trust. And that's really the goal here. All right, so we are towards the end of time here. I'll see if there's any pressing slides. Yes, we will send an email to info@govcontractors.org. We will provide you the recording as well as the slides. In a mentor-protege agreement, yes, it has to be approved by the SBA or the DOD if you're doing the DOD mentor-protege. How many co-ops do you already have? Co-op is brand new. So this is a brand new initiative that the association is supporting. We've supported a lot of companies coming together to go after projects, but those are very informal, right? We have a member that says, I need this. We say, oh, we have another member that has that. Why don't we introduce you to each other? So that's a very informal way of how we've been doing in the past. And so we said, why don't we form formal structure around this here, so that there can really be truly trusted relationships with each other. Question?
Yes, there are some in a separate file. One from Effie. Hello, the teaming co-op, is it considered a joint venture agreement between the co-op team? And another is, do we have access to the GCA network, or are members limited to their designated co-op?
You have, as a part of the teaming co-op, you have membership in the association as part of the process. And if you need capacity outside of your teaming co-op, first step is we try to add another member. That if your teaming co-op has weaknesses, we'll try to add another team co-op member to add value. If there is nobody and there's not someone that bring value to the co-op immediately, then we can introduce you to other companies that you can team with outside of the co-op, or the co-op can work with that standalone company. And maybe that you work with them once and they might join the co-op afterwards. Okay, with that said, I think we are out of time. Really appreciate all of you. We're going to facilitate other future opportunities. Some of these big IDIQ contracts that's coming out, we're going to have more information sessions about them in the coming weeks as well. We'll reach out to you. For all of you that registered for this event, thanks for joining us. If you're interested in the co-op, please let us know. Send us an email. We'll send you the application form for consideration. And with that said, I appreciate everybody joining us. And if you have questions, email the question to me. I'll be more than happy to take any of those questions offline as well. And we will see you in another future session. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Yeah, Abraham.